On KX News, a tragic end to an interstate Amber Alert. We'll hear from law enforcement on the 24-hour search. Plus, how thousands were alerted to be on the lookout for the young girl. And air quality in our state is slipping here in our wide open spaces. Several counties are no longer making the top grade.
KX News starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. A toddler who was the subject of an Amber Alert in Montana and North Dakota today has been found dead. 1-year-old Kinsley Olsen's body was found in Poplar, Montana this afternoon, nearly 24 hours after her suspected abduction triggered the Amber Alert. An official in the Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office reports a subject is in custody and is being questioned in the case. Kinsley was reported abducted through an Amber Alert at about 4:30 this morning, and 2 suspects were listed by authorities who said they may be coming to Minot. Both suspects were found in the Minot area and were cleared of involvement in the suspected abduction. Then a few hours later, authorities in Poplar reported finding the little girl's body. The FBI is leading the investigation into the child's death. When word broke of the Amber Alert, law enforcement agencies along the possible route and in Minot went on high alert, hoping to play a role in resolving the situation. We talked with officials with the Minot Police Department and the Ward County Sheriff's Department about how they respond.
It's just the awareness and trying to act on any tips that might come in. When the Amber Alert is sent out, everybody gets that. I'm sure almost everybody got an Amber Alert on their phone this morning at 4 o'clock, just like I did. When that comes through, it just, you know that there is that possibility. It gives you some basic information about what we're looking for, who we're looking for, and the officers just adjust accordingly. So if we don't have any tie to Minot, the operations here go on like they normally would, and we would respond to any tips that come in that might lead to some involvement or connection here.
In general, when we receive an Amber Alert, our patrol units, whatever patrol units are available at the time, will get out on the highways, get out on the roadways, and if we have a description of the vehicle, they'll be looking for that vehicle, doing whatever we can. If we have any kind of a general idea where they might be or when they might be coming through, we'll do whatever we can to find them. We try to think, you know, the way you would think if you were trying to avoid detection. So we do try to cover some of those back roads, some of the main back roads.
The woman who was first listed as a suspect in the abduction of Kinsley Olsen had her name cleared in the case. But when Minot police went searching for her this morning as a part of the Amber Alert investigation, they arrested Melinda Tweet and her son Tyler Moulton on various charges. Tweet was charged with 3 Class C felonies: felon in possession of a firearm, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and a misdemeanor drug charge. Moulton was charged with a felony count of possession of drug paraphernalia and a misdemeanor drug charge. Both were taken to the Ward County Jail. Lieutenant Tom Iverson of the North Dakota Highway Patrol says it can be quick or take up to an hour to get an Amber Alert out to the public. Alicia Ewan is here to shed light on what happens behind the scenes of an Amber Alert.
You hear the sound, but you only have to read the first 2 words to know it's something serious.
Official Amber Alert. This is a child abduction emergency received.
Wednesday mornings was for 1-year-old Kinsley Olsen. Lieutenant Tom Iverson of the North Dakota Highway Patrol says Montana law enforcement believe 2 suspects were headed to North Dakota. The alert popped up on phones across North Dakota at 4 this morning.
It is still very important that we issue those out at that time because at that point in the morning there still are a large amount of vehicles out on the roadways that can help be on the lookout for a suspect vehicle. And in this case, a citizen saw the wireless emergency alert, notified law enforcement that they knew a location of where one of the suspects was at, and that was followed up on.
The suspect being found was only one of the updates we at KX put out during the Amber Alert. Iverson says they rely on the media to give those updates. He says if they put out a message with that loud noise every time something changed, people would become desensitized and stop reading the messages at all. Iverson says the messages we receive on our phones are limited in the amount of information they can give us at one time. such as what kind of vehicle to keep an eye out for. Iverson urges everyone to check a news media site and find the photo of the missing child and possible suspects whenever they see an Amber Alert, even if it's at 4 in the morning. Alicia Ewan, KX News.
To recap, the body of 1-year-old Kinsley Olson was found in Poplar, Montana this afternoon. A suspect is in the custody of the FBI and is in charge of the investigation.
Now, KX Weather First Look.
If this hasn't been the nicest day of the month, boy, it's got to be a close second. I think just about everybody made it into the 60s today. And if it wasn't the 60s, it was the 70s, and it really wasn't very windy. In Minot, 74 degrees. Williston, 71. Garrison, a little cooler at 65. How about Crosby at 73 degrees? The wind, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Many areas, a couple of spots, a little bit more, but not what you would call a windy day. Just a terrific day. So my hour-by-hour forecast for the next few hours, we should remain in the 60s, and then overnight we'll have a few clouds roll in, and then tomorrow morning to start the day, 30s and maybe some low 40s from place to place. By the lunch hour, maybe low 40s most areas, and by tomorrow afternoon we should be in the 50s to maybe some 60s in the west, which is a little bit cooler than today. Now there is going to be another storm system in the area for the weekend, and I'll have all the weather details coming up.
Thanks, Tom. The American Lung Association says North Dakota's air is becoming dirtier in the past few years. According to the State of the Air report issued by the Lung Association today, the state has had nothing but grades of A for air quality in recent years. But in the 2016 report, which is based on data collected from 2012 through 2014, that grade drops to a B in 6 of the 9 counties that are monitored for air quality. The group says Burleigh, Cass, Dunn, McKenzie, Mercer, and Oliver counties had their grades docked because of brief periods when particulate matter in the air was higher than normal. 5 of the 6 counties experienced one day from 2012 through 2014 where particulates were rated unhealthy for sensitive groups range. That's orange in this rating system, while Oliver County recorded 2 such days in that 3-year period. None of the counties had any days where air quality was worse than that, the red, purple, or maroon levels. The Roosevelt Park Zoo is just days away from opening its gates for the season. Today, some student volunteers lent a hand with the spring cleanup. Several students from Dakota Memorial School, the on-campus school at the Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch, picked up trash and tended the grounds. One member of the Dakota Memorial's Student Council says that volunteering in the community has become a focus this year. He says that keeping a zoo clean helps keep it special.
The zoo is supposed to be like an area where anyone can go to escape from the city and see nature, and that doesn't really work when there's garbage everywhere. So, yeah, we're trying to preserve this being a natural area rather than just a place with more animals.
They like the extra help they need because there's only so many employees and there's so many of us that they just need the help.
The zoo will open for the season this Saturday, April 23rd. Later on KX News, ideas are brewing at the Chamber of Commerce. More on that after we hear what's brewing in the Weather Center.
Oh, looks like a pretty decent day tomorrow, but there may be a storm for the weekend. The details are coming up in a couple of minutes on KX News at 6.